Morning, morning, folks. Or morning, Dill. Hope you're well, mate. Maybe I'll give it a second or two. Martin, morning, buddy. Hope everybody is well. I've just been spending the whole morning. Martin, you'll probably know this. Dill, I don't know whether you have dogs, but I've got a robot vacuum. One of these Roborock things. Roborock. And for the past couple of months, it's been giving me the same error about a filter. Clean the filter. So I cleaned the filter, replaced the filter a few times. I kept getting the same error. It was annoying me because, as you know, Martin, or certainly for me, with a German Shepherd, this Robo vacuum is amazing. In the morning, cleans up all the hair. And I've been trying to find a fix for it. I'm like, this is wrong. And this morning, I finally found a fix. So I spent the last hour taking the whole thing apart. Yeah, I know. I've taken the whole thing apart. Cleaning like this little filter that you've got to go all the way in this robot vacuum for, and now I've just come away, obviously did the stream, but going back to put it all together, and hopefully, touch wood, it all works out. So I've been spending, I'm like, this is not going to beat me. I'm going to beat this bloody robot vacuum and get it working again, because it is a godsend when it works well. Anyway, that's my life right now, fixing robot vacuums. The life of a trader sometimes. Morning, Mira. Morning, Leon. Morning, Silver. Hope everybody is well. Let's get into the markets. Shall we? Okay. SPX. SPX. What are we thinking for the SPX? Daily, our Dane finally got fed up and stood up to the vacuum and now is no more. Well, thankfully, Royce, the German Shepherd, doesn't mind it. He just kind of lies down and it goes round. He'll move away when it comes close to him. But thankfully, they don't mind the robot vacuum. But the actual vacuum, the Dyson, they don't particularly like. Anyway, dogs, huh? Okay, so markets today. We had this is in play. I do think this is in play. Our head and shoulders is potentially in play. A little bit of rejection around this support zone. Do I think that this is going to come to fruition? I don't think it will, because remember, the head and shoulders signals a potential change in trend, right? So are we thinking this market rallies from here? There is an argument for it. I don't think the argument is very strong, but from a technical perspective, there's the argument there. I think the best place to look at this is still on the daily chart. So we did have a gap down yesterday. Technically that gap is not filled yet. We could be looking at filling that gap and continuing down. I think the use of this 20 seems to be a good indicator for the SPX right now. And possibly we're in the same thing. So waiting for that 20 catch up, continuation to the downside. Things can change, we know that, but I think that would be my personal bias. Possibly a few more days of corrective price action. Where trading is not great, within these periods, not great. Then you get some fluidity. Obviously, looking at buying the yen, but I think that would be my continued bias, and it probably will be that. There is, and we have to look at both sides. So we do have that confluence, and we've got, maybe not a very nice pattern here, I have to say, but you could be looking at potentially something like this. Breakout retest, movement to the upside. I don't want to give that bias. The healthy bias or the probable bias is continuation shorts, and it has to be. So 20 period catch up, continuation shorts. That's what I'll continue with the SPX until it shows me something major on that daily or on that weekly. Dollar. Dollar is pretty much the same. Dollar is pretty much the same. So we broke in through this area. We thought we'd maybe get a retest. It failed around that 200. Are we getting our proper retest of this previous support zone now? Yeah, I think we get that. We could break out of this. If we're looking at this from a 4-hour perspective, it actually looks like a decent channel corrective. If we zoom out on this chart, kind of like this. And we take this as a major impulse. I probably wouldn't do that. I don't think that's technically correct. But we are within this channel, and we are moving to the downside. So bias for me with the dollar until something majorly changes would be looking at a reason to short it on that 200, on that 20, on that previous support becoming new resistance. Possibly, again, something like this, a good reason to short and continue short that dollar, possibly against the yen, possibly against the Swiss. I think maybe quite good plays, to be honest with you right now. So dollar would be pullback mode and continuation shorts. Again, nothing here on the daily saying buy this dollar up just yet. Bias, yes. Saying this, right? Technically going from here to here, is that correct in terms of your fib movement with what we got here? I mean, it could be. This is where the fib tool is a little bit subjective, right? Because if we take that, we can look at pullback to roughly where it is now, 40.60, which I think is getting into continuation dollar, which would make sense to me. But technicals, as I said, looking for a retest of this area, continuation down. On US dollar. Okay, let's have a look at GA, shall we? Since we have done for the past 9 or 10 days. Every time I've said it looks good, it comes down. Every time I've said it looks down, it comes up. So what I'm going to say now is it looks pretty good to the downside. In which means, hopefully, it'll go like this today. Let's see. To be honest, I don't really care about this trade. I'm kind of fed up of it, to be honest with you. Possibly getting some reaction around the support. Ain't looking good for breaking out the wedge structure, but I can't do anything about it. I'm in it. And if we do get some push over London, which I don't think is my bias, hopefully it goes against it again. But let's see. Pound Aussie, still in it. But still in it. Euro Aussie as well, another one that, we're just looking for that follow through, and we kind of had it at the start of the day yesterday where this was looking really nice and really up to the US session last night. But again, a little bit of rejection, as we've seen so many times, where we're getting push rejection, pull rejection, that volatility on smaller time frames, that lack of follow through, lack of momentum. We're not really getting that on EA. So very similar with Pound Aussie. This is obviously locked at break even. I would have expected a push. Waiting for London Open. SAR still underneath. If I do get the dot above, then I'll just take this trade out. And to be honest, I'm quite happy moving on from these two. But I need the exit signal. I can't do it just yet. So Pound Aussie and Euro Aussie is still in. And anything can happen, although they do look... EA looks a little bit better. I have to say EA looks a little bit better, but I don't particularly like this in terms of retesting this area here. So I'm going to say both of them look better to the downside in the hope that, like the last few times, I've been wrong. Okay, watch this today. CAD Yen is the first one, currently in retesting mode on this 4-hour chart. Looking for that 20-period catch-up. We obviously have our context here. A little bit frustrating, right, that we got the right idea but the wrong trade. But broken through the area, obviously breaking through on volume. Looking for a 20 catch-up, steady-state retest. It looks to be in. The retest looks nice so far. Ideally, you get your ABC, something like this. That for me would be perfect. Because, we've got our initial rejection here. Obviously, with this, you're looking for retail to get stopped out. Continuation to the downside. That, for me, I would like. Again, that trade, the premise of it, buying the yen, still makes sense to me. From a daily perspective, we've gotten price action that certainly has confluence with a short, along with that risk sentiment. And just looking for that to retest properly so I can get in on it. We could potentially see this retest complete here. It has come back and, given us our ABC on smaller time frames. Outside bullish, bearish engulfer here, coming on a little bit of increased volume over Asia. It could be retest complete, but for me, I need it on that 4-hour because the 4-hour is the trading time frame. And if I can get an ABC or it continues with a steady state retest, giving my catalyst on volume, yeah, that would be a very nice trade to the downside. And I would happily take that. Happily take that CAD yen. There is also, if it does push to the downside, I don't think we get this, but obviously we can always look at B wave as potential shorts if we get a little context there as well. I'll let you type, Martin, before I move on. You're looking at the same chart earlier. Yeah, I mean, I like the trade. I do like the trade. Whether we come down now, just purely on account of markets possibly continuing in this corrective mode. This is probably the thing going for the 4-hour breakout retest, I think. You know, if we consider, and just from a general perspective on CAD yen, right? Consider a 4-hour chart. You know, if we are looking at this, or if we are looking for a 20 catch up, we're talking about 1 or 2 days, really. What day is today? Is today Wednesday? So possibly a trade for Friday. In which case, if we go over to the SPX, right, from a daily perspective, in another, you know, by Friday, are we getting to the point where we've been the last few times? You know, when we get something like this, and then we get the movement on Friday for continuation. So it might work out. I mean, if everything goes our way, which unfortunately it hasn't recently, but if it's got to kind of shift at some point. If everything goes our way, yeah. Oh, $50 trade, yeah. I mean, it's a good idea. Good idea. So you're looking at, okay, let me see this. Again, yeah. So you're looking at entry on a break of B. From here, entry in here. Stop loss above, looking to get down to this area. Yeah, I think it's a good idea. Whatever you're feeling, mate. I like the premise of it. I do like the premise of it. You let me know. You let me know if you want to go in for it. CAD yen. Okay, Swiss yen. I was also thinking this morning that, you know, maybe pairs like Swiss yen, maybe pairs like Aussie Kiwi, maybe pairs like EA, EN, GA, maybe not GA, but Swiss yen, Euro pound, Aussie New Zealand may not be a bad play or things to look at in this market because, yeah, okay, instead of going Aussie yen, not that that's a bad idea or CAD yen's a bad idea at all. I'm not saying that, but when no pressure, it's all free, mate. It's all free. It's one of those written off things, you know. It's like finding a 20 dirham note in your pocket that you never knew you had, you know. But yeah, with these pairs, that it may be not be a bad idea to kind of look at them because they're very similar, right? So they move quite similarly, but there's still trends there, and you're not getting that massive volatility in pairs like the Aussie yen, etc. If you understand what I mean by that. But I was looking at Swiss yen. I think it's probably come off unless we get our head and shoulders here. Obviously, Swiss yen being my favorite pair. If we can get a push up, breakout, retest in a decent area from this latest impulse for movement to the upside, I wouldn't mind that. I know we've got the 200 here, but if you remember with my rules, if we tag the 200, I consider orders filled. So I can look at longing this from, you know, we're going in this kind of steady state, pretty healthy trend movement to the upside. I don't mind that. I don't mind that from a daily perspective or a weekly perspective. It doesn't look great. It doesn't look as nice. But, you know, I don't think many things do. So let's see. Let's see how that one goes on that 30-minute for a potential head and shoulders, smaller time frame trade. Swiss yen to the upside. Silver. Silver is another one where I don't like the daily. I like the context. I like the context here. Definitely like the context here. Obviously looking at a cup with handle, breakout to the upside. Kind of needs to go right now. So our rangey, kind of similar to GA where we don't want this to just go like this. We kind of want it to push. So making that basing structure and that pattern quite clean for a breakout retest to the upside. Just, put it on. But do we have higher time frame confluence? We could say, well, it's breaking through this resistance. But I don't massively like it. I think commodities should be wrong, but again, I don't trade what I see. I trade what I think. But the context, there's no doubt the context here is pretty nice. There's no doubt the context here is pretty nice. And if this was a 4-hour chart, by the way, if this was a 4-hour chart, right, and this closes like this, that would be an aggressive entry for me. A, B, C, volume coming in. So if that was a 4-hour, this is the kind of thing that I look for with my aggressives. Silver to the upside. Put it on. I'm watching it. Don't have to trade it. USD CAD. USD CAD. USD CAD here, you can see the structure. Confluence with our potential head and shoulders on the 4 hour. Again, daily is not very nice. The daily is not very nice, but if we're considering this as our kind of impulse, we could potentially make money if it comes down and does this, or what we kind of think with usually this impulsive move when we get initially from an uptrending or from an uptrending market, when we're probably looking for a complex corrective. There's potentially money to be made from A wave to B wave, and that's what I'm thinking with USD CAD, with that potential head and shoulders, confluence, possible loss of momentum here on USD CAD. I kind of like it better than silver, have to say. If we break through, we're obviously breaking through those moving averages, cut with handle pattern in here, breakout, retest, movement to the upside. I kind of like that, I know we're saying US dollar shorts. I understand that. I kind of like where it is. I have to say, I kind of like where it is. And I think that if we get to potential B wave, and obviously anything can happen, but if we do get to B wave, there's a decent bit to be made on that movement on USD CAD. So don't mind that. Don't mind that. Okay, breakouts, German 30, still here, still looking at this. Still needs to tag this zone. Again, remember, if we don't do this, we could look at this as a breakout potentially here for A, B, shallow C, potentially, if it does set up. At the moment, I'm looking at this area, these highs, for price to come up. Price to come up, give us our secondary structure, give us another reload for a breakout to the upside. That's what we're looking for in terms of German 30. Obviously, we can also look at this area if we get a slight context in here for a break to the upside at B wave as well. So German 30 still on the list. Confluence is a little bit better. Confluence certainly for me is there, which is, funnily enough, considering where index is, this seems to be holding its own quite well. You're getting your head and shoulder potentially at the bottom of structure here for your confluence to the upside. So I kind of like it. I know it's going against everything, but the technicals here I kind of like. And German 30 to the upside, I'll be looking for a B wave or a breakout of those highs. WTI is another one I like. Oil. Oil here, another break of B wave or our secondary anchor to our corrective here. Got our V reversal, nice little pullback. I just saw this morning. I mean, this was over Asia, right? I believe this was over Asia. Gap down. So I don't know if I would have taken it as an aggressive. But I wasn't at the charts anyway. So V reversal, decent corrective here, looking for a push through up to these highs, tag these highs, 20 period catch up, break to the upside. I think, although I don't like the idea of buying oil personally, we can't get away with what the technicals are saying, right? If we just look at recent price action here, nice daily bar. We're getting another retest here. We could be potentially continuing, with this movement. So I'm not saying it's the best, but there's certainly confluence there with WTI to go long. We seem to be getting some support here. As I said, I don't know how far it goes, just from a fundamental point of view. But like I said, there's an argument there. There's an argument there, and I do like the context. I do like that. I like where it is. I like the pattern. I think it's quite nice for potential movement to the upside on oil. Euro yen longs, which again, I don't know if I massively like. Confluence is not there yet, but we're waiting for this pattern to progress. It's just something that I will potentially look at. Got our initial basing structure here. I don't think I would look for an aggressive on this particular one unless it's really nice. Unless it's really nice. But, where's the confluence? What's getting me in? Do I want to be selling the yen? I understand, the yen has been weak. I understand that. But for me, in the way that I look at it, I'm not sure whether I want to be selling the yen. But we have got some bullish pressure here. We have. So we're above this 20. Well, we're this daily's not finished, but we did close above the 20 yesterday. But it does look like this, right? And that's obviously the worry. So higher time frame confidence, not great. Not great. And finally, Bitcoin. Bitcoin is still on the list. I've not got an entry in here yet. Still looking for one around this area. Every day it goes on and kind of continues. It gets a little bit better for me as we digest this impulse. But I'm just watching this for a potential entry, which obviously is not going to come. Probably not going to come this week. Maybe over the weekend, if we get some kind of context here, we could be looking at a head and shoulders now, or whatever. I mean, whatever's going to come. I just want to watch it at this area to see if I can get something to get me in for Bitcoin shorts. So yeah, I think which ones do I like probably the best? I do like CAD yen. That does resonate with me. Waiting for a 4-hour breakout retest. Remember, with the 4-hour, it's you're selling the candle rather than your previous swing. So I do really like the 4-hour breakout retest. They just come along quite rare. So if we get your inverted hammer here on the 20, not to that extent obviously, but you're selling the candle rather than the previous swing, which makes the risk reward usually a bit better if it does go our way. So CAD yen I do like. Maybe as we're seeing now, maybe it's just not ready to go yet. So I think the 4 hour is a good place to continue with that. Potentially as in 5 minutes, obviously London's open. Swiss yen I don't think we'll get, but I'll watch. Silver. Silver, I like the context. I don't really like the higher time frames, but I'll watch it. USD CAD, I do kind of like USD CAD, I have to say. So CAD yen, USD CAD, I like. This I like, although it's going against it, I like it. Obviously, the idea of Bitcoin shorts, I like it. This I do like as well, going with that overall kind of trend. Euro yen, not a massive fan of. And obviously in these horrible, stupid Aussie pairs trades that will do what they want to do. Right, guys, anything you want me to look at before I head off and get back to my robot vacuum? Any questions? Speak now or forever hold your peace. USD yen. Yeah, I actually like the idea of USD yen, I was looking at this. It did break through. I'm not sure what it's done this morning. I can't really remember. Yeah, so I like the idea of selling USD yen. This isn't a context for me. It was close to being one, but it's probably more of a double top rather than a cut with handle. If you liked it, I could see why you liked it. I'm not saying it's not good at all. I'm not saying my bias for USD yen isn't down, because it probably is. 4 hour is in a good position. 4 hour, is trending quite nicely. We're just getting the retest of this area. I don't think we've got a reason to sell it yet. But that doesn't mean it doesn't come. With the dollar looking weak, I know this is the thing with the yen does weaken off as, maybe this is the weird thing about the yen, right? Is that normally on uncertain markets, we've seen the yen be a lot stronger than what it has, right? Certainly in what we're seeing in pullback modes. So normally, pre this fall, if we get pullbacks, we're still getting strength, or still getting strength in that yen, if I'm making sense here. But recently, we've not got that, which I find quite strange, and again, the market's never wrong. I'm wrong, but I just think the yen should be stronger than what it is. I just think the yen should be stronger. I mean, we look at Aussie yen. Right, I just, we're in such a massive bear market, and do I think that's what the Aussie yen should look like in terms of a charting perspective? No, I don't. I don't. So, quite strange. Anyway, so USD yen, what am I thinking? Probably looking for a reason to short it, right? Not giving you it just yet. You might get a 4 hour catch up, but yeah, I'll be looking for a reason to short the USD yen. That has to be the bias. Decent day yesterday, decent close yesterday. It will be a counter trend idea. It will be a counter trend idea from this massive push to the upside. Jesus, wouldn't it be nice to get that kind of aggressive entry now? That's what I'm looking forward to. That big 10% trade. I'm telling you, I'm going to celebrate after that. So USD yen, yeah, I like it show up. Just waiting for a catalyst. Aussie dollar. Aussie dollar. I had a look at Aussie dollar. I see what you're looking at. You're looking at this V reversal here, Martin, right? I presume. So smaller time frames, yeah, smaller time frames look good long, but daily 4 hour. I know the dollar's weakening off. The Aussie's been okay, and you know, as trend continuation, you wouldn't really want this to break through here, which it has. So we've got that 200 kind of bearing down on price action. Your worry with Aussie dollar is obviously this, right? Are people looking to short it, possibly fake out continuation, right? That would be your worry with Aussie dollar. Do I trust it to the upside right now? No, but I've been wrong many times in this current market, so I wouldn't be surprised if it did push. And actually taking it from here, that's not bad. Taking it from there, just from a technical point of view, your V reversal pullback ain't bad. Volume coming in here, which you expect over London. Breakout, if you get your 3-bar retest, I would see a reason to doing it. I just don't know how far it would go. Don't know how far it would go. That would be my only worry. That makes sense. Do you see the same? Do you have the same worry as me, Martin? But I do agree. That looks pretty nice. I do agree. I think USD yen is nicer than Aussie dollar. I think I would trust USD yen more than Aussie dollar. But then again, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised right now if this just went like boom, something like that. But we just got to stick to our plan, right? Yeah, argument for that, isn't it? Trade smaller time frames or stay away. That's what my mentor used to say sometimes when it's like this. Trade smaller time frames or stay away. It's not something that I do. But yeah. Anyway, we just have to get through it. If you're finding it difficult, we just have to get through it. And it won't be like this forever. For me, this is what I always say to myself. This too shall pass. Obviously, just waiting for that trade. There'll be that trade that just feels good. You know, after you close out, might be aggressive, might be a breakout retest. Hey, you never know. It could be CAD yen. And it's just keeping yourself in it. You know, I'm on negative, you know, as I said, on -1 for the year. -1 for the year, which ain't great, but I'm only -1 for the year. And also, obviously, I left. This is the probably, and I keep trying to get out of my head, but obviously the money I've left on the table in the form of the trades that I've missed makes a big difference. So, anyway, we just gotta be patient, gotta be wait, and was this there's a saying there, but I can't remember it. I'll let you type, Martin, before I head off. Price come back to retest to 0.7805. $7.0805, I presume, right? 7125. Yeah, I presume you mean 708. Let me just read your message, sorry. Price come back to retest. We can go to the downside, but again, it can go back and retest. Yeah. So, I mean, ultimately what you're saying is if it breaks here, you're not interested, right? Or you'd be looking at maybe a setup going short. But if it breaks here for a long bias, I would agree. It would need to break and then retest and for continuation to show that movement, to show that momentum into it. But breaks below here, your context, yeah, your context has kind of gone off because this is enough for me. You know, when we talk about the 20, yeah, we use the 20, but just looking at price action from, you know, within our pullbacks from our V reversal, what I'm looking at is essentially digesting this area, right? So if I look at this movement and I look at this, that for me is digested. So does this need a complex corrective? For me, it doesn't. So it breaks through here, premise of it is off. And yeah, so I agree. On small time frames, that I like. The context is horrible. Yeah, I mean, I'm the same, Martin. I'm the same. I mean, like the ones today, right? Like all these ones, the context is nice. Silver, the context is nice. I just don't like the higher time frames. I mean, I guess the same with USD CAD. This is why I like these, you know, these ones really. Oil, I mean, oil, even though I don't like it long, the trend is telling me long. So if I can get onto a trend, then I'm happy. But it is slim pickings. It's slim pickings. That's why I'm fixing a robot, because there's nothing much to do. Although I'm doing work in the meantime. But sometimes if I wasn't doing this, that's what I would be doing. I don't know. That this is probably why, you know, traders, I guess, set up things like this, is because, you know, certainly swing traders, because sometimes it's boring. Sometimes it's just boring. I'll let you type, Martin, before I go. Any other questions? Boring trading, yes. Good trading is boring trading. Let's leave it as that. Good trading is boring trading. All right. All right, guys. Have a great day. Trade safe, and I'll see you all in the morning.